You didn't find this message by accident. Something in your energy, your state of mind, your readiness brought you here right now. Because what you're about to hear isn't just a story, it's a reminder. Every one of us carries a frequency, a vibration shaped by how we see and feel the world. And those people who seem to attract success, love, and opportunity effortlessly, they're not luckier. They're aligned. They've learned one of life's greatest energetic truths. Your reality responds not to what you say, but to how you make others feel. Every time you meet someone, you're exchanging more than words. You're exchanging energy. And that energy determines how people see you, trust you, and remember you. It decides who wants to walk beside you and who walks away. When you master that, when you learn to create connection instead of resistance, everything around you begins to shift. Opportunities appear, relationships heal, the right people start to find you. So before we begin, take a deep breath. Feel this moment. Ask yourself, what kind of energy have I been giving to the world lately? If you're ready to understand how connection shapes your entire reality, say it out loud. I'm ready to align with people. Because the story you're about to hear, about a boy from a small farm in Missouri, holds the key to understanding how human energy, empathy, and success are all connected. When I was a boy growing up on that little Missouri farm, I never imagined people around the world would one day be reading my words or listening to my ideas. We had no electricity, no money, and no way to see beyond the cornfields that framed our lives. But we had something more valuable than comfort. We had curiosity. I remember lying in the hayloft at night, watching moonlight slip through the cracks of the old wooden boards. The crickets played their quiet rhythm, and I'd lie there wondering what kind of lives people lived beyond our town. Why were some men admired and trusted, while others, just as smart, just as capable, never seemed to win affection or respect? That question followed me like a shadow. It wasn't just curiosity, it was hunger. A hunger to understand people, to understand life itself. My mother used to say, "Dale, you'll never meet a person who doesn't crave to be seen." At the time, I didn't really get it, but years later, I realized she was right. Every heart, no matter how proud, quiet, or hidden, is reaching out for appreciation. The truth is, people are miracles waiting to be noticed. And how we notice them, that's where every real success begins. When I left the farm, I carried more fear than luggage. I was a thin, uncertain boy with dreams too big for my confidence. New York felt like another planet, loud, fast, filled with faces that didn't see me. I rented a tiny room with one dusty window and spent nights staring at the streetlights, wondering if I'd made a terrible mistake. But every morning I'd remind myself, fear never built anything worth keeping. I wanted to write, to speak, to inspire. But who was I to think anyone would listen? And yet, something inside whispered, start where you are, help where you can. So I did. I noticed something important. Most people don't fail because they aren't smart enough. They fail because they don't understand people. They don't know how to work with others, how to inspire trust, how to lead hearts before leading hands. That realization changed my life. That's how my first public speaking class was born. A small room at the YMCA, a chalkboard, and a handful of people searching for their voices. The first night, everyone was nervous, including me. But something remarkable happened. By the end of class, people who had trembled with fear were standing tall, their eyes bright with confidence. They'd discovered courage they didn't know they had. That night I realized, when you help someone believe in themselves, you touch the divine. Try this tonight. Think of one person who might be doubting themselves. Write them a short note, not advice, not correction, just appreciation. Tell them what you see in them. You'll be amazed how such a simple act can shift both your energies. That moment became my calling. I decided to dedicate my life to understanding the art of human connection, how to lift others, how to speak life into them. And everything I'll share with you from here on was born from that mission. The human key, understanding people and the energy of connection. The greatest discovery of my life was simple, yet it changed everything. Success in life depends on how well you understand people, not how much you know, not how hard you work, but how deeply you can make others feel understood, valued, and respected. I used to believe achievement came from knowledge, long hours, cleverness. But time and again, life showed me that the real difference between failure and fulfillment is emotional, not intellectual. Your business, your marriage, your friendships, even your inner peace, they all rise or fall based on one thing: your ability to deal with people kindly and wisely. Let's start with the first principle I ever learned, the one that saved me from making countless enemies and built more bridges than I can count. Principle 1. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. When I first began teaching, I thought pointing out people's mistakes would help them grow faster. It sounded logical. Fix what's wrong, and things get better. But the opposite was true. Criticism rarely changes people. It only wounds their pride, hardens their hearts, and makes them defend their mistakes instead of correcting them. Even when we're right, harsh words can make us wrong. Abraham Lincoln once said, "Don't criticize them. They are just what we would be under similar circumstances." He learned that after years of angry debates. As president, he discovered that understanding changed people far more than condemnation ever could. Think about it. When someone criticizes you, do you feel inspired to improve or just hurt and defensive? A kind word can open a door that judgment would slam shut. Try this. For the next 24 hours, make yourself a quiet promise. No criticism, no complaining. If something frustrates you, pause, breathe, and find one positive thing to say instead. Notice what happens inside you and around you. Principle 2. Give honest and sincere appreciation. Every human being, no matter how proud, quiet, or strong, is hungry for appreciation. It's our deepest craving, to feel important, to be seen, to know that what we do matters. Charles Schwab, one of the most successful business leaders of his day, said, "My ability to arouse enthusiasm among my people is the greatest asset I possess." The way to develop the best in a person is by appreciation and encouragement. He didn't scold, didn't criticize. He praised sincerely and generously. "I am hearty in my approbation and lavish in my praise," he said. "Flattery is hollow. Appreciation is holy. One comes from the lips, the other from the heart." When you express genuine appreciation, you awaken something in others, a spark that lifts their spirit and helps them grow. I remember a young man in one of my classes, shy, withdrawn, always sitting in the back.
After class, I said quietly, "You have a calm confidence about you. I can see it in your eyes." He looked shocked, almost disbelieving. But a few weeks later, he was leading group discussions, helping others find their voice. He didn't change because I taught him. He changed because he finally saw his own worth reflected in someone else's eyes. Try this. Find someone you haven't thanked in a while. A colleague, a friend, a family member. Tell them sincerely how they make your life better. Mean every word. Then watch what happens. Principle 3. Arouse in the other person an eager want. This is the heartbeat of influence, the art of helping others want what you want. Every person you meet is focused on one question: what does this mean for me? They're not thinking about your goals or your deadlines. They're thinking about theirs. If you want to move people, speak to what moves them. Show how your idea helps them reach what they desire. You can't push people. You can only lead them by aligning your vision with their values. I learned that the hard way. Early in my career, I'd stand before a class and passionately tell them what I wanted them to do. They'd nod politely, and nothing changed. Then I started asking questions instead of giving commands. What would make this easier for you? What would success look like from your point of view? Suddenly, their energy shifted. They weren't obeying me, they were owning the idea. That's the difference between manipulation and inspiration. One takes energy, the other gives it. Try this. Next time you want to persuade someone, pause and ask yourself, what does this person truly want? And how can my idea help them get it? Write your answer, then speak from their point of view. I built my early teaching around these 3 ideas: understanding instead of judging, appreciating instead of condemning, inspiring instead of forcing. Those principles became the foundation of my first book, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
And though decades have passed, their truth has only grown stronger. Because people may change, technology may change, but human nature never does. We all still want to be understood, appreciated, and inspired. When I first started teaching communication, I discovered something simple and a little painful. Most of us don't listen to understand. We listen to reply. And that small mistake is the reason for so many arguments, broken relationships, and missed opportunities. We get so busy defending our own point of view that we forget what we truly want isn't victory, it's harmony. The real goal of communication isn't to win an argument, it's to win a heart. Let's look at a few timeless truths that can turn even the hardest conversations into bridges, not barriers. Principle 4. The only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. When 2 people argue, no one really wins. Even if you prove you're right, you lose something far more valuable: goodwill. I learned that lesson early on. Back in my New York days, I spent hours debating a colleague about the right way to teach public speaking. By the end, I'd proved every point, and he never spoke to me again. That was my victory and my loss. People's opinions are tied to their pride. When you attack their ideas, they feel as though you're attacking them. Instead of arguing, look for common ground. Say something like, "That's an interesting point. I hadn't thought of it that way before." You're not giving up your truth, you're simply choosing peace over pride. Benjamin Franklin once said, If you argue and rankle and contradict, you may achieve a victory sometimes, but it will be an empty victory because you will never get your opponent's goodwill. Try this. The next time you feel an argument coming on, pause, take a breath and say, "You may be right." Then really listen. You'll be surprised how fast the tension melts away. Principle 5. Show respect for the other person's opinion. Never say, "You're wrong." Those two words, "you're wrong," have started more wars, ended more marriages, and broken more friendships than any others. The moment you say them, the other person's mind slams shut like a door in the wind. When you treat someone's opinion with respect, even when you disagree, that door stays open. And when the door stays open, so does the heart. If you must correct someone, use humility instead of authority. Say, "I might be mistaken, but here's how I see it." That small shift can turn confrontation into conversation. Try this. In your next discussion, replace judgment with curiosity. Instead of saying, "You're wrong," ask, "That's interesting. What made you feel that way?" Watch how the tone changes. Principle 6. If you are wrong, admit it quickly and sincerely. We all make mistakes, but few of us know how to handle them gracefully. When you hide your mistakes, they grow heavier, but when you admit them honestly and humbly, they lose their power over you. I once lost an important client because I misunderstood his instructions. My first instinct was to defend myself. Instead, I called him and said, "It was entirely my fault. If I were you, I'd be upset too. But give me one more chance and I'll make it right." He paused, then said softly, "You already have." That day I learned that humility disarms anger faster than any apology ever could. Try this. Think of one mistake you've made recently, big or small. Instead of defending it, admit it sincerely. You'll find freedom in the truth. Principle 7. Begin in a friendly way. A drop of honey, they say, catches more flies than a gallon of gall. No matter what kind of situation you're in, business, friendship, or negotiation, start with warmth and goodwill. People mirror your energy. If you enter a room tense and guarded, they'll reflect that right back. But if you walk in with kindness and ease, even the toughest hearts begin to soften. I used to tell my students, if you want enthusiasm, be enthusiastic. If you want kindness, be kind first. Because energy is contagious, always. Try this. Tomorrow, greet everyone you meet with a smile, even strangers. Watch what happens, both in them and in you. Friendliness is one of those gifts that grows as you give it.
Principle 8. Let the other person do a great deal of the talking. We learn nothing while we're speaking, but when we listen, really listen, we earn trust, respect, and wisdom. When I first began teaching, I talked too much. I thought the more I spoke, the more valuable I seemed. But my best students didn't need my words. They needed space to find their own. So I started asking questions, inviting them to share their stories. And I discovered that people already hold the answers. They just need someone to help them hear their own voice. Try this. In your next conversation, aim to talk only 30% of the time. Spend the rest listening, asking questions, showing genuine curiosity. You'll be amazed how much deeper your connections become. Principle 9. Try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. If there's one habit that can transform your relationships, this is it. When you step into someone else's shoes, even for a moment, judgment fades and understanding takes its place. You can't hate someone whose story you understand. When I began practicing empathy, life itself softened. I saw that every angry person is usually afraid. Every rude word hides insecurity. And every cold silence carries a quiet plea. Please, understand me. Try this. When someone frustrates you today, pause and ask yourself, what might they be going through that I can't see? That's where compassion begins, where assumptions end. These principles aren't tricks, they're truths. They work because they honor human dignity. And when you live by them, you don't just win arguments, you win trust, love, and influence that lasts.
Leadership isn't about commanding others. It's about awakening what already lives inside them. When people feel believed in, they rise. When they're scolded or belittled, they shrink. I didn't learn that from a book. I learned it from watching ordinary men and women come alive the moment someone noticed their worth. Most of us spend our lives waiting for approval. A teacher's nod, a parent's smile, a word of encouragement. We underestimate how powerful even a single kind word can be. Real leaders understand this. They use their words to build, not break. Let's look at a few guiding lights that can make you the kind of leader others want to follow, not because they have to, but because they want to. Principle 10. Begin with praise and honest appreciation. When you need to correct someone, start by recognizing what they've done well. A person's heart opens in the warmth of appreciation. Once it's open, truth can enter gently. One of my students told me he tried this at home. He said, "Mr. Carnegie, I stopped criticizing my teenage son. I started praising him sincerely for the few good things he did. Within a week, I had a different boy. The boy hadn't changed. The father had." When you start with praise, people don't brace themselves for attack. They lean in with trust. Try this. Next time you have to correct someone, a colleague, a friend, even your child, begin by naming 2 things they did right. You'll feel the shift immediately. Principle 11. Talk about your own mistakes before criticizing others. This is one of the most disarming tools there is. When you admit your own flaws first, you give others permission to be human too. I often start my talks by sharing my own failures, not because I enjoy them, but because it makes learning safe. When people see your humility, they stop feeling judged, and when judgment fades, growth begins. Try this. Before you correct or guide someone, tell them about a time you made a similar mistake. You'll turn confrontation into connection. Principle 12. Ask questions instead of giving orders. The difference between a dictator and a leader is tone. When you ask questions, you invite cooperation. When you give orders, you create resistance. Instead of saying, "Do this," try, "What do you think would work best?" Or, "Could you help me with this?" People don't want to be managed. They want to be respected. Try this. For one day, replace every command with a question. Notice how people's willingness and your own peace expand. Principle 13. Let the other person save face. No one wants to feel humiliated, even when they're wrong. If you destroy someone's dignity, you destroy their motivation to grow. A wise leader corrects in private, protects in public,
and always leaves the door of respect open. Try this. If you must confront someone, do it privately, and end the talk with your faith in their ability to improve. Principle 14. Praise even the smallest improvement, and praise every improvement. We often wait to celebrate people until they've achieved something big, but greatness grows from small steps. When you notice and praise those steps, you become the wind beneath their wings. Try this. Look for one small improvement in someone close to you today and name it out loud. You might be the first encouragement they've heard in years. Principle 15. Give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. People tend to become what we believe them to be. Tell someone they're careless, and they'll live down to it. Tell them they're capable and kind, and they'll rise to meet it. Try this. Think of someone who's struggling. Tell them one quality you see in them, something they might have forgotten. That belief can be the spark that changes everything. Principle 16. Make the fault seem easy to correct. When people believe they can't change, they stop trying. But when they believe they can, they surprise even themselves. Encouragement turns fear into faith. Try this. When someone says, "I can't," reply, "You've already done the hardest part. You started." Sometimes that one sentence is all they need to keep going. Leadership isn't about standing above people. It's about standing beside them. When you build others, you build yourself. When you light another candle, your own flame burns brighter.
When I look back on my life, from that Missouri farm to classrooms around the world, one truth shines brightest. Everything begins inside the heart. Your words, your success, your peace, they all flow from how you see and treat people. You don't need power, fame, or fortune to change the world. You only need one thing: a sincere desire to make others feel valued. These principles aren't just lessons, they're a way of living, a way to bring warmth to every room you enter. Principle 17. Remember that a person's name is, to that person, the sweetest sound in any language. A name is more than a word. It's a symbol of identity and dignity. When you remember someone's name, you're saying, "You matter enough for me to remember you." Principle 18. Smile. A smile is a small miracle. It costs nothing and changes everything. It's kindness you wear on your face. Principle 19. Become genuinely interested in other people. Most people walk through life craving attention. Few ever think to give it. But when you truly care, not because it's useful, but because it's human, you unlock connection. Principle 20. Be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. Listening is love in action. It says, "You matter. I have time for you." Principle 21. Make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. Everyone you meet is fighting a quiet battle you can't see. Your kindness may be the light they've been waiting for. True success isn't measured by applause or fame. It's measured by how many hearts you've lifted, how much peace you've created, and how much kindness you've shown when no one was watching. So, my friend, as you walk back into the noise of everyday life, carry these truths with you. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Give honest and sincere appreciation. Arouse an eager want in others. Avoid arguments. Respect opinions. Admit mistakes. Begin in a friendly way. Listen more than you speak. Praise every improvement.
Let others save face. Believe in people even when they don't believe in themselves. Live these not as tactics, but as habits of the heart. They're not tricks for winning friends, they're ways of being one. Because the way to win friends and influence people is to first become a friend yourself. And remember, tomorrow may never come, but today is here, waiting for you to live it.